Welcome to Fiction, the YouTube channel where anime and fiction enthusiasts can indulge in captivating stories. Join us on a journey through imaginative worlds filled with adventure, mystery, and suspense. Our channel specializes in sharing anime fiction stories that will take you on a thrilling ride of emotions and excitement. From epic battles to heartwarming moments, our channel offers a wide range of content to keep you hooked. So sit back, relax, and immerse yourself in the world of fiction. What hit me? Naruto murmured as he stood up as he rubbed his head in pain when he awoke. Is it possible that the strangest dream caused me to embark on numerous explosive tags once more? It wasn't a nightmare. Naruto quickly turned to see Skuld standing there with a death glare when a voice behind him said something. "Oh my god," Skuld yelled at him. "You idiot, why did you have to wish for me to stay with you forever? I mean, what idiot beside Kenichi would wish that?" He said, only to be grabbed by the collar and violently shaken. "But no, I had to locate that scumbag. Please, can you stop shaking me?" Naruto said as he struggled to break free of the goddess's death grip. "You were the first person I talked to on the phone, and now I'm stuck with you." As soon as she stopped shaking him, Skuld said, she started to cry. "I mean, why did you want that? And why couldn't you just want money?" He sat down next to me and said, "I don't know. I was merely expressing my feelings. Honestly, I didn't think this would make me happy." "Are you happy now?" She said that as she began to cry. Naruto held her close because he didn't know what to do. He murmured, "It's okay." As she cried into her shoulder, "We'll find a solution." While Naruto held Skuld, she just kept crying. She stopped crying after a few minutes and hiccuped. "You feel better?" He inquired of her in the hope that she would not attempt to strangle him. "Thanks, yeah." As she released the hold, she said, "I'm sorry. I have no idea who you are." As he stood up and extended his hand, he said, "Oh sorry," adding, "Naruto Uzumaki, nice to meet you." She said, "Skuld," and she gave him a handshake. The mess in Naruto's apartment and the gaping hole in his roof caught his eye as he smiled and looked around. As a group of ambus suddenly broke through his windows and surrounded Skuld with a knife drawn, Naruto said, "Oh crap." She was surrounded and 6 short swords were pointed at her, and Skuld watched in horror. "Uzumaki, are you okay?" Ambu, who wore a Nico mask, asked him. "I'm fine." Naruto sighed. "Nothing happened." "Then what was that bright light that came through your roof just a few minutes ago?" He was questioned by Nico. "Well, it started like this." Naruto sighed as he looked at her before going on to explain everything that had transpired since he left the Hokage office. Nico couldn't believe what she heard as he told his story. He wished that the girl sitting on Naruto's floor would always be his, and that she was a goddess who had come to grant him a wish. Nico asked Naruto, "Is that what really happened, or are you pranking us again?" As he finished speaking, "I swear I am not lying," Naruto said, waving his hand in surrender. "She is an idol." "Then are you okay with us questioning her at the Hokage?" She contacted him. "Just do it." He spoke as if nothing had happened. "I don't think that's a good idea," he told her with a sour expression. "Getting everyone to look at her," she said. "What's going on?" Nico inquired. "I must always be with him or something bad will happen because Naruto wished I would stay with him forever." "Yeah right," Skuld replied, and Nico helped Skuld to her feet. "Let's go." As they left the apartment, Naruto felt like he saw a lightning bolt strike the space between Skuld and Nico. Skuld rushed back to Naruto after they both jumped. "See, I said so." Nico said, "That was just a coincidence," and one of her teammates whispered something in her ear. Under her mask, she nodded and appeared pale. "It would appear that the Hokage is looking for you both at the office." Skuld was led out the door and toward the Hokage tower by Naruto, who simply nodded. Despite his fear, he thought, "I am so dead." Skuld and Naruto were positioned in front of the Tsunade. Skuld held on tightly to Naruto's arm, out of fear of all the people with swords surrounding her. Tsunade sighed as she looked at the two people. Why exactly does Naruto seem to experience odd events on a regular basis? She already had enough on her plate. When Iwa asked Naruto to live in their village because it was safer than the Konoha, their relationship with Iwa soured after the war. The rest of the alliance rejected it right away. But Iwa was known for holding grudges. Therefore, the two villages have been engaged in a mini-war for the past year. The remaining alliance members were avoiding the conflict. Her life could not get any worse now that she had to deal with this circumstance. "Could you please tell me what took place at your apartment?" she said, and Naruto went on to explain what had transpired since he had left her office earlier that day once more. Tsunade listened intently, but as he got deeper into her story, she realized he had lost it. Tsunade gave him a frustrated look when he finished. Do you believe that I'm insane? I've heard a lot, but that's the biggest bunch of lies I've ever heard. Aba-chan, I am not a liar. Naruto made the statement only to be hit in the face, sending him flying across the room. What have I said about being called that? As Naruto stood, she yelled at him. Not much. He said it resignedly. Tsunade let out a sigh, knowing that he would always refer to her as to return to the issue at hand. Is there any evidence to suggest that she is a goddess? Isn't my word sufficient? Skuld said, her face frowning. Tsunade replied, no, it is not. Unless you can prove that you are a goddess, we'll be forced to detain you and ensure that you are not a threat to the village. They would lock her up just for not proving what she said was true. These people are paranoid. And Skuld's eyes whitened in fear. She deliberated and considered her options. Out of instinct, Naruto grabbed her hand and squeezed it to reassure her. It will be fine. Just do what you did with me earlier over the phone. Is there a phone in a different room? Tsunade agreed when Skuld asked. She was led out of the room by one of the Ambu and down the hall until they reached a book-filled room. The phone is to your right on the table. Skuld thanked the Ambu for his remarks with a nod. The Ambu was taken aback when she took the recorder and disappeared into it. Tsunade picked up the phone when it rang soon in the Hokage office, but she dropped it when she saw a hand emerge from the receiver. With a sigh, Naruto grabbed the hand that was pulling Skuld out. Is that sufficient evidence for you? Skuld asked, hopeful. It only demonstrates your power, not that you are a goddess. Skuld was dismayed by Tsunade's statement. However, because it demonstrates your power, I am willing to allow you to remain, provided you promise to always remain in the village. I swear. She was glad to be off the hook. Skuld said with a bow. These individuals differed from Kenichi and his friends. They appeared to be capable of killing anyone at any time. Tsunade smiled and said, that's good. You'll be under Naruto's supervision. Have a wonderful time in Konoha. I'm grateful. Hokage, with another bow, Skuld said, I am spared. Hokage-sama, there is a problem, an Ambu said as he suddenly entered the workplace. Describe it. The Ambu was consulted. It appears that the apartment complex in Uzumaki was set on fire and destroyed. He stated. What? Asked Naruto as he gazed at the Ambu. He yelled. What caused that? It appears that a lightning bolt struck some old wiring, which caused the fire. Naruto hit his head on the wall when the Ambu said that. Why me? As he slammed his head against the wall, he said. It won't matter, Skuld said, attempting to soothe him. Yes, I can always return to my apartment and cry in my room. He spoke mockingly. No need to get angry now, Naruto. Tsunade replied with a grin. I have the ideal lodging for you too. Really? Surprised, Naruto said. Follow me? Yeah, Tsunade said, rising from her chair. Skuld and Naruto followed Tsunade out of the office with a nod. As they stood in front of the abandoned Uchiha complex, Tsunade said, here we are. Here, you can live. You want us to live here? Naruto asked in awe as he looked at the complex. It was either give it to you or let the Harunos take it over, Tsunade stated with a nod. You are better here than them. Thanks Bachan. Naruto said as he gave Tsunade a hug and smiled. Tsunade gave him a hug and said, you're welcome. As she tried to control her rage. Yes, I live in Amasian, take that Erd. Skuld said as he smiled as he looked around the compound. As they entered the grounds, she considered as she entered the house. She could literally see the dust covering everything as she looked around and saw that it had been left alone for a long time. Many of the plants that had been well cared for before were growing everywhere. She could only say, wow, as they looked around the house. There will be a lot of cleaning to do. Skuld agreed with Naruto by nodding in agreement. Tsunade slowly slipped away from the two of them as they looked around the house, leaving behind a note. Sorry to leave, but had some I mean paperwork to do by. Read the note. Naruto turned around to read to her. A chibi representation of Tsunade giving them the peace sign was in the corner. As he imagined Tsunade at a bar, Naruto sighed and said, she would ditch us. She must dislike working. Skuld responded while face panning. He sighed and said, she'd rather gamble and drink. Well, why not get started? Bushin, cage. 10 Naruto clones could be seen emerging from the smoke cloud as it cleared. When she saw his clone, the skull's eyes widened. That simply isn't possible. As she observed the clones begin their work, she stumbled. Of course it is. Naruto smiled as he turned to look at her. He spoke as though it were commonplace. Have you ever looked at clones before? Of course I've seen clones before. She gave him an evil look. I have made some with one of my inventions, but you're human. You can't make clones appear from thin air, she yelled. I made them with chakra, Naruto said. They don't appear out of thin air. Chakra. Skuld was perplexed because her domestic textbooks did not cover this. Yes, chakra. It is the combination of the physical and spiritual ailments in everyone's bodies. Naruto nodded. I can create clones because shinobi, like me, have trained to use chakra since childhood. She mumbled, but Naruto pressed a finger to her mouth. Just follow through, he said, which made her blush. Hinata was carrying a basket full of cookies as she stood outside the new Uzumaki compound. She hoped Naruto was okay as she had heard that his apartment complex had burned down. He was at the Hokage's office at the time, which pleased her. In the hope of getting closer to him, she had baked the cookies. She vowed to get closer to Naruto after the fight with Pain. When she and Naruto said he didn't remember what made her sad, the war had, regrettably, kept them apart. She now planned to get her man and demonstrate to everyone that she was going to do so. When she knocked on the gate, she heard shouting inside. She listened and she perceived two voices, one male and one female, arguing. As she walked into the compound, she heard the voices getting louder as she pushed the gate open. She heard Naruto yell, "No, I'm not going to get rid of perfectly good furniture. We need to get new furniture because it is old and worn." "It's fine," the female voice yelled at him. "Back up," Naruto yelled. "You then sit on it," she retorted. Naruto replied, "Fine," and the footsteps could be heard. "I see it well." A sigh could be heard as the female voice seemed to retreat. When Hinata knocked, footsteps could be heard shortly after, and the door opened. Yes. A girl of about Hinata's height, with long black hair and an odd mark on her face, said, "Hello. I was hoping to see Naruto." Hinata mumbled nervously. "The idiot's in there," the girl said with a nod. She said, leading her back to Naruto's couch in the living room. He smiled and said, "Hey Hinata." She blushed and said, "Hello Naruto. I brought you cookies. I heard what happened at your apartment, so I wanted to make sure you're okay," she said. "Thanks Hinata. You're the best," Naruto said as he smiled and took the basket from her. Hinata mumbled, "Yo, you're welcome," as Naruto's hand brushed against her. When she was younger, the brief contact would have made her faint, but she had become more comfortable around him. Skuld became enraged as he observed the scene. "Who on earth is she?" she pondered as she observed their interactions. "Only I can make him smile in that manner. What am I thinking? Forgive me." Skuld spoke with a tinge of irritation. "Oh sorry Skuld," Naruto said to her as he turned to face her. "This is my friend Hinata." "Hinata, this is Skuld." Well, what exactly are you?" he said to her. She said, "I the one who going to stay by your side forever, remember?" Which enraged Hinata. "Stay by his side forever? What do you mean?" Hinata spoke with a touch of rage. Skuld replied, "No, run along and let us continue our cleaning." "Exactly what it means." "No, I like to help. You know what they say," Hinata said as she narrowed her eyes as she looked at Skuld. "More hands make for easier work," she stated. Naruto began to say, "It's okay." But Skuld interrupted him. "Let her assist." Skuld spoke out of rage. "A girl like you will not defeat me." She laughed evilly as she thought, "You are the nicest. You're not taking my Naruto, you hussy," Hinata declared. She pondered. As he observed their interactions, Naruto felt dread. "It will be a long day today," he was thinking to himself. As he watched the two girls clean, Naruto remained immobile as if he were a statue. "Why me?" he reflected as he observed Hinata perform a mission like kitchen cleanup. He watched as she quickly dried and washed all the dishes. Skuld was cleaning the bedrooms upstairs, while Hinata was cleaning the kitchen. She had taken out a huge machine that looked like a small human before she left to clean the rooms. She introduced the robot. "This is Banpei, the all-purpose robot. He cooks, cleans, and protects the house from any intruders," giving Naruto and Hinata a confused look. "My most exquisite creation is him." As Skuld and Banpei made their way upstairs, Naruto and Hinata simply nodded and watched. He was now standing in the living room, dumbfounded by the entire situation. Naruto is jolted from his slumber when a sudden explosion from above is heard. He immediately ascends to the summit, where there is smoke everywhere. He quickly used a series of hand gestures before saying, "Futin." It was a great windbreak. After extinguishing the smoke, he looked around for Skuld. He discovered her in one of the side bedrooms, next to a broken Banpei. He sat down next to her after noticing the burn marks on her arms. "What took place?" he inquired while examining her arms. "I was cleaning and I reached the desk. I went to open the bottom drawer, but it blew up," Skuld said as she tried not to cry as she looked at him. She was carried down the stairs by Naruto, who held her in his arms. Hinata walked over after noticing this. She felt envious of the other girl because she was in Naruto's arm, but she was worried about Skuld because of the burns. Up there, they had traps. As he sat Skuld down on the couch, he said, "Can you watch her for me? I'm going to go check to see if there are any more traps," he said as he turned to Hinata. As Naruto ascended the stairs, Hinata gave a nod. She turned around and saw Skuld attempting to heal her arms. She was, regrettably, not doing a good job of it. "Let me do it," Hinata told her to stop before she hurt herself out of compassion. She stated, and Skuld simply nodded. "I'm grateful." As Hinata treated her, Skuld responded. Hinata smiled and said, "I always help people in need, it's fine." "That's very nice." As they sat there silently waiting for Naruto to return from detecting traps, Skuld said, "So what's your relation to Naruto?" Hinata asked Skuld as she looked at him. She asked in an effort to obtain more information from her. "He wished we would be together forever," Skuld said as he glared at the wall in rage. She responded, making Hinata's eyes widen. "So are why you?" Hinata began to speak, but before she could finish her sentence, she stopped. "Yes, I will live with him for the rest of my life." Making Hinata blush, Skuld said, "What's her problem?" Skuld asked as he looked at her. She then recalls Buldandi's behavior when she thought of Kenichi. "You don't like him, do you?" Skuld stated, reddening the Hyuga further. What are you referring to?" Skuld refused to drop it, despite Hinata's efforts to brush it off. "He's really liked by you." As she watched Hinata turn even redder, she said, "That's unfortunate. I'm currently with him, so you missed your chance. You can't compete with a goddess like me, come on." As she became enraged, Hinata responded, he doesn't belong to you. This snob doesn't have my Naruto. Like you can win. I am Skuld Goddess First Class Unlimited License." Skuld chuckled as he looked at her. "I never lose. He's mine." Hinata yelled in rage as she got up and stared straight at Skuld. "I love Naruto. He belongs with me," she declared. "Not anymore." Skuld waved at her, allowing her to barely avoid being struck by Hinata. "What are you engaged in?" As she avoided another blow, Skuld yelled, "I won't let you take Naruto from me," she stated. After saying that, Hinata continued to strike Skuld. Skuld ran for the door to avoid it. Skuld tackled Hinata to the ground as she followed her. She rolls over Skuld, knocking him off her, and then she gets on top of Skuld. She holds her down so she can't move, saying, "He's mine. Like I would let you win like that," Skuld said with stubbornness as he looked up at Hinata. "I call for lighting," she said, and a bolt of lightning nearly struck Hinata. Skuld rose from the ground as she had just timed her dodge. She summons a second lightning bolt and fires it at Hinata. Naruto was busy checking the other room while they were fighting. He was unaware of the fight because the Uchihas had installed sound-absorbing seals throughout the house. The house was shaken by an explosion at once. Naruto had hit the deck in the hope that it wouldn't explode. After waiting for a while, the house felt another tremor. What in the world is happening? As he left the room and went down the stairs, he reflected. He noticed that Hinata and Skuld were not there when he looked around. He saw a flash of light out of the corner of his eye, and he rushed toward it. When he got outside, he saw Skuld and Hinata fighting. While Hinata was attempting to shake the other girl off, Skuld was sitting on top of her and pulling her hair. She threw Skuld off balance and tried to hit one of her chakra points, but Skuld was only able to barely avoid it. "I summon forth lighting," Skuld yelled as he barely dodged the blow. She fired the bolt at Hinata, who evaded and missed, but it hit Naruto instead. He threw up when the blonde was hit by the lighting. He stood for a moment before falling to the ground as it left his body. Naruto, as his world got darker, both of the girls yelled and ran toward him. What struck me? When Naruto opened his eyes, he saw Hinata and Skuld looking down at him and asked, "What happened?" Hinata began to say, trying to find a reason for what had happened. "Well," Skuld tried to say, but it seemed like neither of the girls could say it. "You know what, just forget it," Naruto said as he looked at the two girls while this was going on. He remembered the fight and getting hit by lighting. "Skuld, I'll see you in the morning because I need a break." He waved to them as he ascended the stairs, ready to drift off into ramen-filled dreams and forget everything that had happened. Skuld said, pointing her figure at Hinata, "This is your fault." "How exactly is it my fault?" Skuld inquired. "Naruto wouldn't be mad at us if you didn't say those things," Hinata stated. "Well, you shouldn't have attacked me at all." The two of them argued into the night after Skuld said that. When Naruto felt the family's pull toward a particular fox while sleeping in the master bedroom, his thoughts turned to ramen. Naruto awoke in front of the house of Kyuubi. After mastering its chakra, he had altered it, and he was pleased that the fox was his friend. "What does Kyuubi mean?" As he entered the house, Naruto inquired. He noticed the fox perched on the bed and staring at him. "It follows with a wagging tail." "I just wanted to know what you plan to do with the goddess," Kyuubi inquired. "I have no idea. I barely know her, and I wished for her to stay with me forever. What was I thinking?" Naruto sighed as he sat down on the ground. "I ought to have wished my parents were still alive." "You can't dwell on that now. That would have been a good wish. She is here, and you must take care of her," Kyuubi said. "I am aware. I just glad I got the time off before this happened, because otherwise it would be even more complicated," he replied. Kyuubi asked once more, Okay, so what's the plan? I don't know, get to know her and show her around. I guess Kaiwubi's facepan was all Naruto's response. Is that really it? You're not going to invite her to your room and behave like rabbits in heat, Kaiwubi stated. What the hell, Iro Kitsune? Naruto asked Kaiwubi as he looked at Kaiwubi in shock. Kaiwubi replied, hey, I'm just saying, I mean, you haven't done that in a while. The last time you did that was at the brothel Iro Sennin showed you on your training trips. Naruto yelled, hey, the only reason I went there was because of you. It was, yes. In response, Kaiwubi, you gave me that heat cycle, you're the one. He yelled, hey, if you had a mate, you wouldn't go into heat. According to Kaiwubi, therefore, all that is required of you is to mark the goddess, and you will be set for life. I'm not doing that. Laughing, Naruto said, you can't hide it from me, Kit. I know you are attracted to her as well as a few others in this village. Kaiwubi laughed as he looked at the blonde. Why are we discussing this? Because I tired of you not getting any, Naruto said and blush. Kaiwubi lashed out. I mean, you don't even read Uchiha. I need something to keep me occupied, Naruto said, shaking his head, you're a pervert. I just have a very healthy interest in the opposite sex, Kaiwubi stated, I'm not. Iro Kitsune. Whatever, I have to go back to my dream, see you later, Naruto said as he stood up. Before trains transformed into humans, Kaiwubi watched him leave. A lovely woman with red eyes, long red hair, and a stunning dress. She said, I just want you to be happy, even if it's with another woman, and she laid down on her bed. In her dreams, she saw a blonde boy behaving badly toward her. Oh Naruto, you mean kid, she murmured, SB. The following morning, Skuld was in a bad mood because she had argued with Hinata for some time, but nothing was resolved. She stormed out of the house, unaware that the Hinata intended to make Naruto her own. Skuld was perplexed as to why she loved him so much. He was an idiot who made stupid wishes in her eyes. I wish Buldandi was here, he said. She would know what to do, Skuld said with a look. Wait, I'll call her to find out her thoughts. Skuld rushed to her phone, grinning to herself, dialed the number, and waited for someone to answer. The other end was soon picked up by someone. How may I be of service? Goddess Helpline Control Center, Buldandi speaking. Skuld responded, I need your advice, after Buldandi said, big sis. Naturally. What is it? Buldandi inquired. Well, the guy called and asked if I could stay with him forever. I replied, Skuld said, sighing. Buldandi was surprised because she had no idea how the Skuld would end up. Is he like Kenichi? She asked. She replied, no. When we first met, he held a knife to my throat and asked me how I got into his apartment. After the wish, I was surrounded by 6 people with swords. I was then forced to prove I was a goddess. But they still didn't believe me, Skuld said. After we moved into a mansion and his apartment burned down, then I was attacked and visited by a girl who likes him. After that, he emerged, and I kind of lit him up. Additionally, the locals make use of an odd power. The Wisher can create clones of himself that are identical to nothing. Buldandi listened as Skuld talked about her circumstances. What she said caught her off guard. Buldandi said, oh dear, it looks like you're having a hard time there. Skuld responded, yeah, it's so different from when I lived with Kenichi, at least he was nice. Naruto appears so distinct. Belle was thinking, so his name is Naruto, as she looked up his file, and when she pulled it up, she noticed that it was restricted. She tried using her password, but it didn't work. Only people with level SS clearance could open it, and she only had level S clearance. Who is this guy? As she looked at his pictures, she wondered what distinguishes him. As she recalled gazing into his eyes when they first met, Skuld said, well, he seems happy. But I can see he is really lonely. I'm not sure what it is, but it appears that he has witnessed things that make the majority of people cringe. I want you to try your best, but remember this, Naruto is a different character from Kenichi. So don't expect your life to be the same, Buldandi told her little sister. Okay, I go talk to dad and see what he says. Okay, sis major, Buldandi responded. I talk to you later, and Skuld responded. I love you too. When Skuld heard the other line end, she gave a nod. After giving some thought to what her sister had said, she entered the living room. She was aware that this world was distinct from Kenichi's, but she had no idea why. While she was pondering, Naruto awoke in a bad mood. He grinned as he thought back on his conversation with Kaiwubi. He murmured, stupid fox, as he entered the kitchen. When he opened the fridge, it was empty. He recalls that they did not shop. He grumbled, damn it, and firmly shut the refrigerator. He entered the living room after leaving the kitchen. He sat down next to Skuld as soon as he saw her on the couch. We don't have food, he said that, turning Skuld's head. Let's go get it, I said. She said so. Naruto said, that's the plan. and he went to the front door. He came to a stop and turned toward her. "Are you coming?" Skuld simply nodded and stood up to go with him. Buldandi presented herself to her father. She had inquired concerning Naruto and was awaiting his response. When she bowed to him, her father said, "Buldandi, the man Skuld is currently staying with is a prisoner of one of the 9. Which of the 9? Fearful, Buldandi inquired. The 9 were 9 powerful demons who, if they all decided to attack, could demolish heaven. Their might frightened even Hild. They were just as powerful and as old as her father. They had so many tails that you could tell which one was the strongest. Which one holds he?" she inquired, and her father remained silent before responding. "He the holder of 9. What are we going to do?" Buldandi asked in horror as he looked up. "I'll be sending you to check on him to see if he's stable. If he is not, I want you to seal him," he stated. Buldandi didn't like the idea, but she would do it for Skuld's safety. "I comprehend. His is very powerful and not to be played around with. The world he comes from has similar power to us. It is not as powerful, but they are trained for combat since birth. You were not, so be careful," her father advised. "Yes, father," Buldandi replied before departing for Naruto's world. Thought, this speech, this Kyuubi speech, this Kyuubi speech, this on with the story. Chapter start. Naruto and Skuld went to the market by walking down the street. Silently, they stood side by side. "Why do I feel like bad things are going to happen?" As they walked, Naruto was thinking to himself. Irresponsible Naruto, starving. They moved and Skuld murmured, "So, Skuld, do you have a particular food preference?" In an effort to break the silence, Naruto asked.